The game just changed forever. Tommy Egan and Tariq St. Patrick are about to bring their war to the one city that started it all. New York will never be the same again, and what you're about to see in this first look at Power Legacy episode 1 will leave you speechless. Trust me when I say, the streets are about to run red, and nobody is safe. Not even the people you think are untouchable. The screen fades to black, and suddenly we hear that iconic theme music that makes your heart race. Power Legacy is not just another spinoff. This is the moment we have all been waiting for since Ghost took his last breath. This is the collision of two worlds, two empires, two legends who are about to rewrite the rules of the game. Tommy Egan, the man who turned Chicago upside down, is coming back to New York. But he is not coming back alone, and he is definitely not coming back to play nice. Episode 1 opens with something nobody expected. The camera pans across the New York skyline at night, and we see the city lights flickering like stars. But beneath all that beauty, there is darkness brewing. A darkness that is about to consume everyone who stands in the way. The first voice we hear is Tariq St. Patrick, and he sounds different. He sounds hardened, calculated, like a man who has finally accepted his destiny. He says something that sends chills down your spine. He talks about how his father built an empire and lost everything trying to go legitimate. He talks about how he tried to walk a different path, but the streets keep pulling him back. And now he is done running. He is done pretending. He is ready to become what everyone always feared he would become. Then we cut to Chicago, and we see Tommy standing in front of the remains of what used to be his operation. Everything is burned to the ground. The war is over, but Tommy does not look like a winner. He looks like a man who lost everything that mattered. Maria is gone. His crew is scattered. And the enemies he thought he defeated are still out there, plotting their revenge. But Tommy is not the type to stay down for long. He pulls out his phone and makes a call. The person on the other end? Tariq. The conversation is short, but it is loaded with meaning. Tommy tells Tariq that Chicago is done, and he needs a new start. Tariq does not hesitate. He tells Tommy that New York is waiting, and together, they can take over the entire city. But there is a catch. The game in New York is not what it used to be. New players have moved in, and they're more dangerous than anyone Tommy or Tariq has ever faced before. The trailer then shows us quick flashes of what is coming. We see Tommy walking through the streets of New York, and people are staring at him like they have seen a ghost. Because in a way, they have. Tommy Egan was supposed to be gone, but here he is, back in the city that made him. We see Tariq in a high-rise office, looking down at the city like a king surveying his kingdom. But his eyes are cold, empty, like he has sacrificed too much to get where he is. We see Effie, and she looks worried. She is talking to Tariq, and she is telling him that bringing Tommy to New York is a mistake. She says that Tommy is a magnet for chaos, and chaos is the last thing they need right now. But Tariq does not listen. He believes that with Tommy by his side, they can accomplish what his father never could. They can own New York completely, legally and illegally. Then we see Braden, and he is having a meeting with some very serious-looking men in suits. They're talking about money, about investments, about building a legitimate front for their operations. But even as they talk business, you can feel the tension in the room. These men know that Braden is not just a businessman. He is connected to something much darker, and they are scared. Braden reassures them that everything is under control, but his face tells a different story. He knows that the storm is coming, and no amount of money or planning will prepare them for what Tommy and Tariq are about to unleash. The music shifts, and suddenly the tone becomes darker, more menacing. We see a shadowy figure watching Tommy from across the street. The figure is wearing a hood, and we cannot see their face. But whoever it is, they are following Tommy's every move. Then we see another figure, this time watching Tariq. It becomes clear that someone is hunting them, someone who knows their every move before they make it. The paranoia is real, and it is spreading fast. Tommy and Tariq might think they are the hunters, but what if they are actually the prey? We cut to a dimly lit room, and we see Vic. He looks desperate, broken, like a man who has lost everything. But there is also something dangerous in his eyes. He is talking to someone off camera, and he is making promises. He promises that he'll get his revenge on Tommy. He promises that Tommy will pay for everything he did to him, and whoever he is talking to seems very interested in helping him. The voice on the other end is distorted, but it is clear that this person has power, resources, and a serious grudge against Tommy Egan. Vic might be a rat, but even rats can be dangerous when they are cornered and desperate. Then we see Jard, and he is not in Chicago anymore. He is in New York, and he is talking to some very dangerous-looking people. These are not street-level dealers or small-time hustlers. These are organized crime figures, the kind of people who control entire boroughs without ever getting their hands dirty. Jard is pitching them something, and whatever it is, they're listening. He tells them that Tommy Egan is coming to New York, and he is planning to take over. But Jard has inside information. He knows Tommy's weaknesses, his patterns, his people. And for the right price, he is willing to share everything. The crime bosses smile, and one of them says something chilling. He says that New York has been waiting for someone like Tommy to show up, because the city is hungry, and it needs fresh blood. The trailer shifts to a scene that will make every Power fan's heart stop. We see the outside of Truth nightclub, but it looks abandoned, covered in dust and darkness. The once legendary spot where Ghost built his empire is now a ghost town itself. But then, something happens. The lights inside flicker on one by one. Someone is inside. The camera slowly moves through the empty club, past the bar, past the VIP sections, past all the memories of what this place used to be. And then we see her, Tasha St. Patrick. She is standing in the middle of the club, looking around like she is seeing ghosts from her past. Her face is hard, unreadable, but there are tears in her eyes. She whispers something under her breath, something about how this place destroyed her family, destroyed everything she loved. But then her phone rings. She answers it, and her entire demeanor changes. Whoever is on the other end just told her something that shocked her to the core. She asks if they're sure if Tommy is really back in New York. And when she gets the confirmation, she hangs up and stares into the darkness. The look on her face tells us everything. Tasha knows that Tommy being back means war, and war means her son Tariq is in more danger than ever before. We cut back to Tommy, and he is meeting with someone in a parking garage. The person steps out of the shadows, and it is DMac. Tommy's right-hand man from Chicago has followed him to New York, and he is ready to ride or die. But DMac looks concerned. He tells Tommy that New York is different from Chicago. The players here are smarter, more connected, more ruthless. Tommy just smirks and says that is exactly why they're going to win. Because everyone underestimates the outsider until it is too late. DMac nods, but you can see the doubt in his eyes. He has seen what happens when Tommy goes to war, and it never ends well for anyone. Then we get the moment that everyone has been speculating about. We see a figure walking through a cemetery at night. The camera follows from behind, so we cannot see who it is. They stop in front of a grave, and the camera slowly pans around to reveal the tombstone. It reads James St. Patrick, beloved father and friend. But here's where it gets insane. The figure kneels down and places a hand on the grave, and when they stand up and turn around, we see their face. It is someone we never expected to see in this context, someone who has their own reasons for visiting Ghost's grave. The identity is kept just blurry enough that we cannot be completely sure, but the build, the walk, the presence, it all feels too familiar. And then the figure speaks. The voice is distorted, almost like it is echoing from beyond the grave itself. The words are simple but devastating. They say that Ghost may be dead, but his legacy is about to be reborn in ways nobody could have imagined. And whoever this person is, they seem to know something that could change everything. The pace of the trailer picks up, and we start seeing rapid flashes of what is coming. We see Maria, and she is holding a baby. Tommy's son. The child that represents both hope and a new target for Tommy's enemies. Maria looks terrified, like she knows that bringing this child into the world means bringing him into a war zone. We see Kate Egan, Tommy's mother, and she is arguing with someone. She is screaming that Tommy needs to stop, that he needs to get out while he still can. But whoever she is talking to just shakes their head. They tell her that it is too late, that Tommy has already made his choice, and now they all have to live with the consequences. We see Davis McLean, the smooth-talking lawyer who has gotten Tariq out of impossible situations before. But this time, Davis looks worried. He is in his office, surrounded by legal documents, and he is on the phone with someone. He is saying that what Tommy and Tariq are planning is suicide. He says that the people they are going up against have judges, cops, politicians, everyone in their pocket. But then he pauses, listens to whoever is on the other end, and his expression changes. He leans back in his chair and says that if they are really going to do this, they need to go all in. No half measures, no second guessing. They need to be willing to burn the entire city down if that is what it takes to win. The trailer then shows us something that sends chills through every viewer. We see Effie, and she is in danger. She is running through a dark alley, and someone is chasing her. She is breathing hard, panicking, and she pulls out her phone to call Tariq. But before she can complete the call, a hand grabs her from behind and slams her against a wall. The attacker's face is hidden, but we hear them say something terrifying. They tell Effie that she chose the wrong side, and now she's going to pay for it. Effie tries to fight back, but she is overpowered. The screen goes black, and we hear her scream. This moment tells us that nobody is safe in Power Legacy. Not even the people we think are untouchable. Then we get the confrontation we have all been waiting for. Tommy and Tariq are standing face to face in what looks like an abandoned warehouse. The tension between them is thick enough to cut with a knife. These two have history, complicated history. Tommy loved Tariq's father like a brother, and then Ghost betrayed him. Tariq killed his own father, something that still haunts him every single day. Tommy looks at Tariq and asks him one simple question. He asks if Tariq is really ready to do what it takes to survive in this game. Because this is not college anymore. This is not small-time dealing or playing gangster. This is the real thing, and in the real thing, people die. Families get destroyed. Souls get lost. Tariq stares back at Tommy without flinching. He says that he has already lost everything that mattered to him. His father, his innocence, his future. All he has left is the game, and he is going to play it better than anyone ever has. Tommy studies him for a long moment, and then he nods. He says that if they're going to do this, they do it his way. No mercy, no weakness, no looking back. Tariq agrees, and they shake hands. But as the camera zooms in on their faces, you can see that both of them know the truth. This partnership is either going to make them kings of New York, or it is going to get them both killed. The final moments of the trailer are pure chaos. We see explosions, gunfights, car chases, and bodies dropping. We see the Italian mafia sitting around a table, planning their next move. We see the Chinese triad leaders discussing how to eliminate the new threat in their territory. We see corrupt cops loading their weapons, preparing for war. And through it all, we see Tommy and Tariq standing side by side, ready to face whatever comes. The voiceover returns, and this time it is Tommy speaking. He says that New York thinks it has seen it all. It thinks it knows what real power looks like. But it has no idea what is coming. Because he and Tariq are not here to play by the old rules. They are here to rewrite them completely. And anyone who stands in their way will be erased. The screen goes black one final time, and we hear one last sound. It is a gunshot, echoing through the darkness. And then the title appears. Power Legacy. Episode 1. The game begins now. But the trailer is not done shocking us yet. Just when we think we have seen everything, the screen flickers back to life, and we are shown something that will break the internet. We see a close-up of a hand placing a key into a door lock. The door creaks open slowly, revealing an apartment that looks frozen in time. The camera pans across the room, and we see photographs on the wall. Family photos. Photos of Ghost, Tasha, Tariq, and Rainey. This is the St. Patrick family apartment, the place where it all began, where Ghost dreamed of going legitimate, where Tariq lost his innocence. But someone is walking through this apartment now, touching the furniture, looking at the pictures like they're searching for something. The camera stays on the back of this person's head, refusing to reveal their identity. They walk to the window and look out at the city, and then they speak. The voice is familiar, painfully familiar, but it cannot be. The voice says that coming home always brings back memories, both good and bad. And New York is about to remember why they should have never forgotten the name St. Patrick. The scene cuts abruptly, and we are now in a high-security prison. The camera moves through the corridors, past cells filled with dangerous criminals, until it stops at one particular cell. Inside, we see a figure doing push-ups, staying in shape, staying ready. The guard approaches and tells the prisoner they have a visitor. The prisoner stands up, and as they turn toward the camera, we see a face that makes everything more complicated. It is someone from the original Power series, someone who has a vendetta, someone who's been waiting for the right moment to strike back. They smile, a cold, calculated smile, and say that they heard Tommy Egan is back in New York. The guard asks if that means something to them, and the prisoner just laughs. They say it means everything is about to come full circle, and they cannot wait to get out and settle old scores. We jump back to the streets, and now we see 2-Bit, the fan-favorite character who always brought unexpected twists to the game. 2-Bit is in a barbershop getting a fresh cut, and he is talking to someone on the phone. He is laughing, being his usual charismatic self, but then his face gets serious. He tells whoever is on the phone that if Tommy is really setting up shop in New York, then he wants in. He says he is tired of sitting on the sidelines, tired of watching everyone else make moves while he stays in the shadows. The person on the other end must have said something important because 2-Bit's entire expression changes. He tells them to set up a meeting, and he hangs up. The barber asks him if everything is okay, and 2-Bit just looks at himself in the mirror. He says that everything is about to get very interesting, and he would not miss it for the world. The trailer then takes us to a location that feels both familiar and new. It is a high-end restaurant, the kind of place where deals are made over expensive wine and steak. Sitting at a corner table is a man in an expensive suit, flanked by bodyguards. This man is clearly someone important, someone with power and influence. Across from him sits Braden, looking calm but cautious. The man asks Braden why he should trust him and his associates with such a large investment. Braden leans forward and explains that the organization he represents has connections, resources, and most importantly, the hunger to dominate. But the man is not convinced. He says that New York has seen plenty of ambitious young men come and go, and most of them end up dead or in prison. Braden smiles and pulls out his phone. He shows the man something on the screen, something we cannot see, but whatever it is makes the man's eyes widen. The man sits back, impressed, and says that maybe Braden and his people are different after all. But he warns them that if they fail, if they bring heat down on his operations, there will be consequences. Deadly consequences. Then we see something that confirms what many fans have been hoping for. We are inside a boxing gym, the kind of old-school place where fighters train in silence, where the sound of gloves hitting bags echoes through the space. In the corner, shadow boxing alone, is a figure we recognize immediately. It is Kane, the ruthless, unpredictable killer who terrorized Tariq in previous seasons. Kane stops and looks directly at the camera, almost like he knows we are watching. He says that he heard Tariq is making big moves in New York, trying to be somebody important. Kane laughs, a dark, menacing laugh, and says that Tariq forgot one important lesson. You cannot run from your past, and you cannot hide from the people you wronged. Kane says that he is coming for Tariq, and this time, there will be no escape. The screen flashes red, and we hear the sound of a knife being sharpened. This is not just a threat. This is a promise. The music intensifies, and we are hit with another rapid-fire montage. We see Tariq and Braden in a meeting, planning their next move. We see Tommy training DMac, showing him how to survive in a city that eats the weak alive. We see Maria crying, holding her baby close, knowing that the life she wanted for her child is slipping away. We see Effie waking up in what looks like a hospital, bruised and bandaged, but alive. She looks at her phone and sees dozens of missed calls from Tariq. Her hand trembles as she tries to call him back, but before she can, someone walks into the room. We do not see who it is, but Effie's face goes pale with fear. The trailer then shows us a moment that will have fans talking for weeks. We are back at the cemetery, at Ghost's grave, but this time it is daytime. Tariq is standing there alone, staring at his father's tombstone. He is talking to Ghost, even though Ghost is gone. Tariq says that he tried to be different, tried to honor his father's memory by being smarter, more careful. But the truth is, he is just like Ghost. He is addicted to the power, addicted to the game, and he does not know how to stop. Tariq's voice cracks as he admits that he is scared. Scared that he will end up just like his father, dead and forgotten, with nothing to show for all the pain he caused. But then Tariq's expression hardens. He wipes his eyes and says that if he is going to die like Ghost, then he is going to make sure he leaves a legacy that no one will ever forget. He turns to walk away, but the camera stays on the grave for a moment longer. And then something impossible happens. We hear a voice, Ghost's voice, like it is coming from the grave itself. The voice says one word: legacy. The screen goes black, and we are left in silence for a few seconds. And then, the final scene begins. We are in a dark room, lit only by a single light bulb swinging from the ceiling. Sitting in a chair, bloodied and beaten, is Vic. He is tied up, barely conscious, and he looks terrified. Standing in front of him, holding a gun, is Tommy. Tommy's face is emotionless, cold, like he has done this 1,000 times before. Vic is begging, pleading for his life. He says he will disappear. He will leave New York. He will never bother Tommy again. But Tommy just shakes his head. He says that Vic had his chance to walk away, had his chance to stay out of Tommy's business. But Vic chose revenge, and revenge always comes with a price. Tommy raises the gun, and Vic screams. But before Tommy can pull the trigger, the door bursts open. Standing in the doorway is Tariq, breathing hard, like he ran all the way there. Tariq tells Tommy to stop, that killing Vic will bring too much heat, too much attention. Tommy does not lower the gun. He tells Tariq that this is how the game is played. You eliminate your enemies before they eliminate you. Tariq steps closer and says that they're supposed to be smarter than Ghost, smarter than everyone who came before them. Killing Vic is easy, but making him useful is smart. Tommy stares at Tariq for a long moment, and then slowly, he lowers the gun. He tells Vic that this is his lucky day, that Tariq just saved his miserable life. But Tommy also promises that if Vic steps out of line even once, there will be no second chances. Vic nods frantically, and Tommy and Tariq walk out together, leaving Vic trembling in the darkness. The final shot of the trailer is absolutely perfect. We see Tommy and Tariq standing on a rooftop looking out at the New York City skyline. The sun is setting, casting an orange glow over the city. Tommy lights a cigarette and says that this city belonged to Ghost once, and now it is going to belong to them. Tariq looks at Tommy and says that his father always said that the game does not love you back, but maybe that is because Ghost was playing it wrong. Maybe they can do it differently. Tommy takes a drag from his cigarette and smiles. He says maybe, or maybe they are both just fooling themselves. Either way, they are about to find out. The two of them stand there, silhouetted against the city, as the screen fades to black one final time. The words appear: Power Legacy. Coming soon. And then, one last surprise. We hear Ghost's voice again, echoing like a memory. He says that the game never ends, it just finds new players. And the best players are the ones who are willing to sacrifice everything.